Folks, we absolutely have to take advantage of the fact that we've got the all-time great Joe Montana, Hall of Famer, here to talk about the San Francisco 49ers as they aim to try to win another Super Bowl championship. Hey, just synopsizing in general for me, talk about the Niners and how down the stretch they got some key players back, got healthy. They've got a nice little streak going now and going into a very tough place to win up there in Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest key that I see right now, getting some of those players back, especially offensively. When you can add a couple weapons, you know, Vernon Davis, obviously, and Frank Gore. But when you can take some of the pressure off of Vernon, and what an addition Bolden has been to that team.
Yeah, how about that?
I don't know how they let him get away from Baltimore, but he's been great for the 49ers. And I think really the key that I see also there is that their defense now, they struggled a little bit early on with teams, and now they're starting to pick it back up again and getting back to where they were. I don't think not quite to where they were last year, but they're a lot better now than they were earlier in the year.
Let's talk a little bit about Colin Kaepernick, and because in my mind, he's going to have to do some interesting stuff in this game. A, I think he's going to have to run it more than he maybe even would like to. But B, he's going to have to throw to covered receivers. And this is a fantastic group. I mean, you got guys like Crabtree and Vernon Davis and Anquan Bolden, a huge catching radius where you can really throw it. Is he ready now to make those kind of throws and get those completions to covered receivers?
Well, I think if you looked at the game last week, if you can get pressure on him while he's in the pocket, he's a little bit of a different player. He's a lot more comfortable when there's space around him, as we all probably are. But yeah, and outside the pocket, getting out there, like you say, getting out and run the ball, but not only running the ball, but you know, you got to keep your head up when you run, and especially in these games, because you're going to have opportunities to make big plays. And I agree with you. He has to be the guy. Everybody says they're going to pound it with Gore. They're going to pound it with Gore. Well, I think that's going to happen too, but eventually they're going to start taking that running game away. They got the team that they're playing is pretty good defensively, and they weren't ranked number one for any other reason than being good up front and covering. And the thing that I think makes a big difference that you just mentioned too is that if you can bump and run those receivers and make him make tight throws all the time, Seattle has a chance to beat the 49ers. But
you know, it's interesting listening to Chris, and I didn't get a chance to really rub it in on the show all year. I've been waiting and trying to do it because he thought football was going to change this year. You know, Joe, it's all over. It's all about the read option, and you got to run the option. They can't stop it. It's impossible. That's what he. So I just, one more shot. And you're really hoping to this game that there's going to be a lot of read option? I got news for you, bro. It ain't going to happen.
When you got $20 million out there running down the field.
Yeah, these two teams, you run the read option, yeah, you might get one.
I think you'll see some of it, but I think the more so I would use if I'd use the read option more with those guys to get guys open.
Correct. That's where it is. People always want to say the read option is the running game. And you think the quarterback running the ball. That's what they think. But you have the dive portion, you have the quarterback run. But the most significant part in the league right now is the play fake, buy a little time, and throw the ball in.
So what's happening with that, though, is that the quarterbacks aren't running as much anymore. So that takes away, that negates that. Yeah, because like I said, if I'm playing in the league, back when we were playing, you get the quarterback out running. Oh, I didn't mean to hit you late.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, so wait.
The first time.
So this weekend.
Think about it the next time.
This weekend, let me get this straight, Joe. Chris is saying this. When Peyton Manning fakes it, they're thinking read option, and he throws it. So that, okay, I'll remember it. So
are we talking about San Francisco? Are we talking about that meaningless game you're doing over there on CBS?
Tell me this real quick, you know, because a little time. The Seattle, it's so tough, and it looks real on TV, and I'm sure it is for the players. Just for you, what place was the toughest place for you to go to play where crowd noise truly affected what you were doing?
Well, probably New Orleans. It was loud inside in the dome, and you know, our snap count, using an audibles system that we needed to be able to hear because sometimes we would keep the plays and change protection.
Right.
So you needed to be able to communicate, and that makes it hard here. You know, today I really don't see why the noise is such a big difference to a lot of these teams because, especially with guys who are running the type of offense where, like the 49ers are running, they got silent counts.
Silent counts, yeah.
They're not saying, they're not changing a lot of plays. And protection, you run up there and tell the lineman, and then everything else stays the same. So I don't think I don't see why it bothers them quite as much.
And they do a lot
Although
of
it
hand
does,
signals too, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
I got a couple hand signals
Yeah,
for you,
I bet you
too.
do.
Final 15 seconds. If I'm hearing you correctly, while Colin Kaepernick is excellent at saving plays or being creative when he's out moving, at the end of the day, I heard you tell your two colleagues here that a quarterback has got to prove it where consistently.
Yeah, he needs to be inside the pocket. The game comes down to it's going to be played in there at some point in time. And with the team they're playing now, he has to be accurate because they're going to get tight coverage, and he's going to have to make a bunch of tight throws.
He's talked about that all the time. There you have it from the Hall of Famer himself, Joe Montana.
See, you came on the show and you learned things from Chris. You never thought that was possible.
Never learned how to throw the ball until you talked to Phil, though.